What's poppin', y'all? Charlemagne was idolized by Akademiks alongside Wendy Williams, and he said he was his biggest inspiration and was the first person to give him an interview when Ebro, the competing platform, had dubbed him, and Erica Mena, I believe it was, some love and hip hop girl, had also had him calling out of school and work on 3 different occasions to cancel. But now it looks like Akademiks is on the head top of Charlemagne, and their relationship will never recover. And this is very odd because just on May 19th, Akademiks said he would never beef with 2 people.
Yo, listen, let me tell you this. I gotta tell you this. I have too much respect for Joe and Charlemagne. Even if I think they sneak this in, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless they come out and say, you act, you're not gonna catch me beefing with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Got too much respect. I've done too much work with them. Like, I'm just not a snake type guy. Like, that's my whole personality. I can't kick it with you last week and I'm beefing with you this week. Like, that's like, I don't know how people do it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was even, bro, I don't even know Mano like that, but I fed Mano like a thought in my section from my bottle of that 4K Trey gave to me. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, I was shocked when I seen Rain online, like, calling me weird, all that. I said, bro, we were kicking it, like, we were having a good time together, like, just chopping it up. Like, I'm not, like, the ultimate type of snakes is, like, you're around somebody, you never tell them there's nothing wrong, you wait till you ain't around them, snake time. Like, that's snake shit. Like, so, I know, like, the Twitter streets and the Reddits would, like, unless Joe come out and be like, I'm declaring war on Act, like, come on, that's my guy. Like, I wouldn't be beefing with Joe, nor even Charlemagne. Now, will I constantly correct them? Of course. But they could do the same to me. You feel what I'm saying? Ooh, I like that. Yeah, they could do the same to me. If they feel like, yo, Act, now you incorrect with this. Not correct me, but be thinking beef. When I'm thinking beef, I'm thinking about trying to expose your baby mama. I'm trying to expose, like, you know how I get down when it comes to that type. I'm like nasty. You know what I mean? Like, I constantly look for examples to make sure the next don't try me. So, like, I could never imagine that with somebody I like. You know what I mean? No, nah.
So here he says that, there's no way that he's going to beef with anybody, especially Charlemagne and Joe Budden. He has too much of a history with these guys. I do think his relationship with Joe Budden is a lot more closer knit and tight knit than Charlemagne. There have been a couple of periods of time, or I guess you could say sparks, where it seemed like Charlemagne was a bit not envious, but he didn't think Akademiks would get to the level that he thought he would get to. But Charlemagne, for instance, is somebody that has no problem showing love to people. Like, he shouted out this one YouTuber, I think it was it Chig Smooth? He had shouted him out and said, yo, I watched that guy. He doesn't have to do that. That's something that Akademiks, I think, learned from Charlemagne, because Akademiks used to pretend he didn't know anybody, and now he's brought on more people like What's the Dirt and others who he likes to watch their content. As he's gotten more comfortable in his throne, let's be real here, the guy's the biggest in the game, he doesn't feel threatened by anybody. But in May 27th, Joe Budden would get asked about the Charlemagne Akademiks situation.
Well, I mean, you got some mess you want to get to?
I want to know if you seen that.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
I thought you had your own mess you wanted to get
bro.
to.
I see. I was gonna bring you something. I didn't know.
Oh, mess for me?
Not you, but just in your field.
Well, what you got?
You saw the Academic Charlemagne?
No.
Okay. The Jeremy
What
Heck.
happened with
None of that?
I saw Jeremy Heck going back and forth with Akademiks. I saw that.
I didn't see Charlemagne. What's the Charlemagne?
He was talking about how Go ahead.
Come this way.
Oh, he talking to his
Oh,
son.
he was talking.
Yeah. Ack was talking about how Charlemagne was coming to him with some information that Lauren said this, is that, and the third, and then he was like, all y'all can all eat my d-, something along that nature. You feel me? And he was going a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot to go through, but
Ack ain't dissing Charlemagne. Stop lying on my space.
no. I didn't say he was dissing Charlemagne. I'm saying he said he was dissing everybody that was talking about
he was
behind
saying
the
all the media people.
Yeah. He said,
But what that got to do with Charlemagne, though?
Because Charlemagne came to him with information, and Axe said, who you got this from? And Charlemagne said, I can't give you that source. And then he said something about Lauren. Then he said it was a lot. He said a lot recently. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, I got to check it out.
See, thank you, thank you. See, I thought he was gonna hate on the T again. Like, damn, you hate when you bring somebody something and they on it.
Who,
He
me?
ain't he ain't
Yeah.
hating. I'm hating. Y'all asking him about other tea, and he got this pride.
So here, Joe Budden is just falling back. He's like, yo, I don't really know what's going on. And I think the moment when things would switch up is when Akademiks would announce that Charlemagne had given him a tip.
Careful, Ak. Be careful who you associate with. That's odd. I'm going to tell you why that's odd. Because even if you don't know where this info came from, it is ironic that only people that align a certain way gets the info. It's not everybody that has the info. It's a certain people that have the info. Shout out my man Charlemagne. He gave me a call. He said, Ak, this was going around. I seen it. So what? Where'd it come from? I don't know. Oh, okay. Charlotte, if I wasn't supposed to air you out on that, it's okay. But listen, I got to get to the bottom of this. I hear Lauren LaRosa got it in the background. What Lauren LaRosa got? What? Then I hear, oh, you got like one of the stooges that was on this show and then this other guy that don't like you. And I'm like, what's going on here? Now, like for anything, I like to address things head on. But with that, I don't like doing proxy wars. I like to just kick it off. I tell all y'all eat it straight up. All y'all eat it. Y'all ain't stopping nothing. All y'all can eat it. When there is entities that's plotting against me, don't be the messenger. You either with me or against me. No DJ Khaled's around my book. No DJ Khaled's around my book. Get the away. Now, I want to get into a few things. Now,
So here, Charlemagne is giving him a heads up, which I think is doing him a courtesy, because Lauren LaRosa, who is somebody that is working directly with Charlemagne on The Breakfast Club, she puts out a lot of different news. They said something came across her page, and this is after this Jeremy Hecht video that came out that tries to tie Akademiks to some like Truth Social, right? It looked like it was a script sent over by some propaganda.
DJ Akademiks took some time off from scarfing down Cheetos or gargling on his favorite rapper's meat to reply to my tweet that now has over 2 million views. I'm gonna get back to Ak in about 20 seconds, but let me back up first. When Drake's Iceman album dropped, the White House posted this. Then a couple days later, they posted this video calling Trump the Iceman. So I tweeted this. White House has now made 2 promos using Drake's album, which he hasn't denounced yet, but they thought we were crazy for saying Iceman is a tone-deaf album title in this climate. Akademiks responded super rationally with this. Now, I wasn't shocked that Ak was triggered. He has been caping for his daddy for years. And not only that, but I did some digging. I have some sources too, Ak, and I know that you're getting paid by the head of Truth Social. So I know why you jumped so quickly and aggressively on that tweet, and I know where your opinion's coming from. I also know that your opinion on music isn't from you either because you're getting paid by every label. But maybe that's for another video. But this wasn't just about them using a song. When you align yourself with people like this, or this, or this, and call your album this, when this is happening, with an album cover that has this sign, that also kind of looks like this sign, you can't be shocked when they do this. I don't think Drake's intention was any of this. Drake even said this on his album. But if that's not something that you want to be associated with, then just say something. That was my only point. Ak thinks that you don't have to denounce anything, but that's because it's something he's aligned with. For some of the biggest artists and celebrities in the world, it was as easy as this. Or this. Or this. And even this. Oh, and Ak, you might want to do some history on the word woke, because I don't think you're using it right. But that's for another video. Iceman's going to sell incredible numbers. Pour up some Henny. You can go back to arguing with women online like you usually do. Oh, I almost forgot. Congrats on your new OVO chain. I know you're going to take great care of it. You earned it. I'm happy for you.
We're going to cover that in a completely separate video, but something happened between here and the next day because Akademiks would declare war on all media people.
I see and I hear what a bunch of y'all media in hip-hop is doing, which is built purely out of jealousy for me and the platform and because we run it. And I want to let everybody know, the gloves is off. You know I love this part. We could all go to war. I'll tell you what that entails. I like to get personal. And for anybody who's going to be like, Ak, you're going to be doing too much, because you know how I get super personal. Oh, I'll find out the baby mamas. I'll find out the missing kids. I'll find out everything. It's okay. And I'm putting this out for every media personality. Not because they put me number one. I'm not the same slimy sick that really got ahead of everybody else. But I'm saying that because I don't know if maybe I'm supposed to take the high road now, but I'm never the high road type of guy. I'm always the where does it go? Where did it go? Low, you can take him to help. So I'm gonna just warn y'all now. Prepare for all f***ing. And I want to also make it clear: there's no bystanders.
So it looked to be Charlemagne that was the individual that he would take aim at first. And the reason for that is because Akademiks TV, which is Akademiks' right-hand man, his director of propaganda. That's what we call Akademiks TV. If you want to know the temperature between Akademiks and personally that he has issues with, if he has issues with somebody, they will be covered negatively on Akademiks TV. If he likes the guy or is cool with the individual, they will be covered positively on Akademiks TV. So these are just an echo of Akademiks' opinions and his relationships. So when you start seeing a barrage of different posts on Akademiks TV about an incident that Charlemagne had to deal with several times in his career going back to 2001. I'm just going to describe the situation to you guys because I think it's grimy to like play all of the videos. It's just a me thing. I don't have an issue with Charlemagne, but I will describe the situation and why I think Akademiks has no chance of beating Charlemagne. He should just pack it up. So the incident goes back to 2001. So in 2001, there was a girl named Jessica Reed, and she was 15, and Charlemagne was 22. And what happened was Charlemagne had a case against her, or she had a case against Charlemagne where they said that he raped her after a party in South Carolina where Leonard, also known as Charlemagne, was from. And she says that he gave her a drink that made her feel dizzy, her legs gave out, and she became incapacitated. But she said she was conscious. And then she alleges that she was essayed by multiple people at the party and being carried upstairs. And then Charlemagne was also one of those people when she couldn't move. And she went and got a rape kit done at the hospital, which confirmed that an essay had occurred. So Charlemagne was always saying that he was innocent on the allegation. He says that he left the party early and wasn't involved in the essay. And he says he cooperated with police and submitted DNA evidence. He was initially arrested and charged with criminal conduct with a minor in the second degree because, keep in mind, he was 22, she was 15. And the case didn't go to full trial. So Jessica Reed's mother, she was telling her not to cooperate or testify, thinking that it would cause her more harm. So that's why later on when the video came out, that's been going around about Jessica Reed and her mother is like regretful that she didn't let the daughter, who, keep in mind, the fact that she was willing to testify about this in 2001 is very bold of her as well. So what happened was they offered Charlemagne a plea deal. And he pled guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. It was like a lesser charge. And it's about like hosting and serving alcohol to minors at the party, including her. And he got 3 years of probation. And they said that his DNA didn't match any evidence from the kit. So this happened in 2001 to 2002. Keep in mind, Charlemagne didn't blow up yet. So the first person to bring up this case and the situation with Jessica Reed was none other than Troy Terrain, aka Star in the Morning. We're Star and Buck Wild show. We can't show him. That guy's ruthless with his image. But you can look it up if you don't know. He's the guy that brought her forth because he runs a nonprofit organization where he brings up things like this. And in 2018 was when it became very, very viral. Like, it was everywhere, and there were petitions to fire him from The Breakfast Club, and he had an upcoming HBO deal too. So the media coverage was everywhere for this. It was mainstream media coverage. And what happened? Well, iHeartMedia stood behind Charlemagne, and they even put out a statement saying the following. Earlier this month, essay allegations against Charlemagne resurfaced from 2001 in the closed case of now 32-year-old Jessica Reed. While the internet started taking the story and pulling it in multiple different ways, it turned out that the case was settled in court 17 years ago, with Charlemagne pleading guilty to a lesser charge of contributing to delinquency of a minor along with 3 years of probation. While in court, Charlemagne had always cooperated with police, taking a DNA test as well. which also produced no evidence that he essayed anybody. In a quote to TMZ from Charlemagne's lawyers, Marty Singer and Michael Weinstein, they said, more than 17 years ago, Charlemagne was accused of SA. He never had relations or any physical contact with the accuser and even provided DNA to prove it. Charlemagne has spoken about this many times over the years in public, including in his book. While Charlemagne has empathy for SA victims, he cannot take responsibility for a crime he did not commit. More controversy was started on the internet when allegations came out against Charlemagne raping his wife, and in response to that, she called into the Breakfast Club to clear up everything. Charlemagne took the time during Front Page News this morning to make a statement about the closed case from 2001. I haven't said anything because I've been waiting for more information to come out. It's been a nutty 3 weeks. I've learned a lot about the weight my words have and have been reminded about the responsibility I have to watch the way I talk about issues in SA. Also, news from his dismissed case in South Carolina have been released as of yesterday, showing that Charlemagne did everything in his power to cooperate with authorities. Check out his full statement below. Keep in mind, this was posted on the official Breakfast Club iHeart page, so iHeartMedia stood behind him. And also, funny enough, this video is unavailable now. It's been privated. So they handled the storm, they weathered the storm, and there was also a civil case that was brought forth against Charlemagne, and they just wanted to hold him accountable. They didn't want any money, which leads a normal person to believe there's got to be some validity to this. But my point here with Akademiks constantly posting this is that he's going to lose the game. iHeartMedia just signed a deal with Netflix worth hundreds of millions. This incident happened in 2018 when it went the most viral, and he survived it. And iHeartMedia clearly took a side and said, we're standing with Charlemagne. This guy's our golden goose, or he's a very powerful figure in a market that we care a lot about. And that's all that there is to it. And when you take a look at the connections that Charlemagne has, he had one interviewee very shook by that.
If you respect Wu-Tang, why disrespect Ghostface the way you did in that video? Because
that's a separate subject.
I was at Bridget Capital yesterday, which is a great hedge fund place.
Of course it is.
I didn't see nobody in there with masks on, a bunch of goons talking crazy the way you was talking.
Bridger, yeah, I wonder what you're doing there. Anyway, really?
Yes, I was, sir. I know people too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's some Illuminati shit right there.
Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna buy me a $2 million album one day.
That totally you totally changed blew up my brain right now.
He was just cleaning the toilet.
No, I wasn't actually. But
good.
So this was an interview that was going on with Martin Shkreli, who at the time was going viral for several different things. One of them was Darapram. He had bought his company. He is a very, very genius guy. But he had this pharmaceuticals company. They bought Darapram, which was an HIV/AIDS drug, and they skyrocketed the price. And there's a lot of controversy and misinformation surrounding this, saying that, people were going to die. But he would later claim that no, their insurance would cover it. Regardless, how he got into hip hop was, so they call him Pharma Bro. So he got famous for that. But how he got into hip hop, he was always a fan of hip hop. He was an Albanian dude that grew up in New York. You know, they all love hip hop, especially during his era. And he bought the Carter 5, but originally the Wu-Tang Clan album for $2 million. And he started boasting about it. He started beefing with these different people. But he was somebody that was really rich. So when he hears Charlemagne mention a specific capital group in New York City, the guy's entire energy shifts. And you can see it and hear it. I think you should be able to see it. But the guy is shook. He's like, whoa, what the hell? Who is this guy? You know that's like Illuminati, right? And this isn't a conspiratorial guy. He's a rather logical guy. He would go on to spend some time in prison. But the point is that this was in 2016, before the 2018 Jessica Reed incident, that Charlemagne had these connections that made somebody within the pharmaceutical industry and also big in New York with a lot of connections of his own shook and concerned. So Akademiks, whilst he may have internet, clout, and power, he doesn't have institutional power. He has zero institutional power. And that is the difference between playing the game and not playing the game. Yes, Akademiks is, according to the people and the general temperature, if you're a rapper, it would be a bad decision to go against him because you rely on the regular person. You rely on fans. You rely on sentiment, things like that. So it's a bad idea to beef with Akademiks as a rapper. However, Akademiks, he is taken up the mantle of being independent media, that means these major corporations, they don't care about him. He doesn't have pull like that. Look at Twitch. He's still banned from Twitch, permanently banned. We don't know when they'll reinstate him, but it was for that incident that he was talking to one of Plaqueboy Max's teen mods and being very, very, very inappropriate. I've called this out last year. I said it was one of the dumbest things that he's ever done, and just goes to show a lack of overall thought into how big of a figure he is, but he's still banned from Twitch because of that. So yeah, what can he do? He can post about Charlemagne, and these posts can do a lot of numbers, but the whole reason why these types of things were brought forth on the internet and they get clout and they get posted on these news sites and all that is to pressure the partners or the institutions, corporations that are aligned with said individual, like trying to get them canceled or whatever. And clearly that's not going to happen. It didn't happen in 2018 when it was much bigger than this. It hasn't happened since because it's resurfaced again, I think around in 2021, 2022, and it damn sure isn't going to happen now. And this isn't like streamer versus streamer beef, because if Leonard, Charlemagne in this scenario, was beholden to some live streaming audience or he was a content creator, they would hold him accountable, for lack of a better word, by saying, yo, you got to speak on this again, even though he spoke on it already. But that's not what Charlemagne has to do. Charlemagne just goes and does his own thing. I don't think he'll address this. I don't think he'll address Akademiks, and he's going to continue on doing what he does. The lawyers, the billionaires, the major corporations, they've already set their sights on Charlemagne, and there is nothing that Akademiks will be able to do against it. And some people will say, well, that's going to change some people's mind online. Not really, because when you think about it, who watches Charlemagne? If you are a fan of Charlemagne on the Brilliant Idiots, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of his on The Breakfast Club, because that thing's on Netflix, they've got a deal, all that doesn't even matter. They've got guaranteed bread there. But if you are a fan of Charlemagne, you already knew about this. Like, let's say Brilliant Idiots, or Brilliant Idiots. That's what else he does. And you read his book. You're not going to change your opinion from this resurfacing. So the only people that are going to at all be, I don't know, shocked by this are people that aren't fans of Charlemagne like that, or even like fans of hip hop to know about this incident. Like, for example, I know about this incident. I'm not really a listener to anything Charlemagne unless it's an interview or a clip like that. So the people that don't watch Charlemagne are going to see this and be outraged, and they're going to continue to not watch Charlemagne because they were never fans of his in the first place. And the people that are already fans of Charlemagne are going to see this, and they're going to say, well, we knew that this happened, and we made our decision years ago whether we were going to continue supporting him, listening to him, and whatnot. So this is a huge nothing burger. Versus with an Akademiks, if they throw dirt on Akademiks' name, then that can prevent a lot of deals for him in the future. But the idea that Akademiks' audience is going to stop watching him is comical. I can understand Akademiks' frustration towards Charlemagne for like, yo, why are you giving me like a heads up when you know something's going on with me, but you're not telling me who did it? I think Charlemagne did this out of the goodness of his heart, to be honest. Because what is he going to do at that point? Is Charlemagne going to sacrifice his position for a relationship with Akademiks and tell him who's after him? Or is he going to protect his interests and his more powerful people that stand to benefit him a lot more in his career pursuits, whether that be politics in the future, which I do believe it is, and then give Akademiks a hint? I think him just staying back and having not said anything would have been the safer bet for Charlemagne. So I think he took a hit telling Akademiks this, because now Akademiks is angry at him, and not only is he trying to go at Charlemagne, he's going scorched earth with some really like grimy stuff from Charlemagne's past. It would be the equivalent if Charlemagne talks about like an ongoing case that Akademiks has, and just like things like the incident from last year, and trying to paint it as Akademiks being something that he's not, which it was foolish for him to do that. But Akademiks is not some guy that's trying to, bring up young boys or anything like that. But this will be interesting for us to view, that's for certain. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I feel like I talked a little bit long on this one. I could have gone a little bit longer, as I have so much detail on these two and their relationships in the past and just things that they've done, generally speaking. So if you did want more detail and you wouldn't have minded this being longer, let me know.